Okay, so chapter 2 is called Falling in Love. This one is, again, from the book Righteous Dopefiend. This one was it starts off quite sad. They look at the character called Tina, or the person called Tina, and they show how or they talk about how she was brought into the world of prostitution, and they talk about her early abuse as a child, and it's really quite sad. And then they start to move on into how they um, discussed it with her, and then they start to look at her relationship now, and how at first she was still interested in pursuing prostitution so she could be, I think, independent from and still have like her own way of getting income. And they looked at possible, or they suggested one possible reason why she may still be doing that. And then it gets quite a bit more ethnographic in the way it's just sort of telling the story of their lives today. And this is where it becomes a lot nicer in that you start to see the relationship between the people, Tina and Carter, and just how at first they started to get to know each other in the original camp. Then they moved to a camp by themselves, and then they became quite independent as a couple, and they get a camper van, and they're really looking out for each other, and it's really quite heartfelt, and it's actually quite sad because really do start to get to know these characters. And now I'm looking back at the start of the chapter where you hear about the abuse that Tina suffered as a child. It makes it even more sad because you really start to know, not know these characters, but feel like you know a bit more about them. So yeah, it's definitely it's a good chapter, and you you get to know two characters quite a bit more. They explore in this chapter the idea of love within, and almost like love and sexuality within the boulevard, homeless people within this place, and they focus mainly on these two characters. So it was a good chapter, and it ends. What does it end talking about? It ends. It ends. Oh, that was it. It ends with first quite a sweet instance where you see how the Tina and Carter are sort of both working together to sort of sustain themselves, and it's quite good because it has like actual pictures of one of the situations where they pull off what they call a hit, and they were nicking plywood from like this public building site or whatever that had like covered a manhole, and it's quite good because they've got pictures showing them pulling this off. Um, yeah, so that was quite good. And then it also ends on kind of a sad note in that they say how Tina starts taking heroin, and they look at the sort of social dynamics in and the problems this might cause, because originally when she was just smoking crack she was sharing that, but now she might want heroin, she's going to have to start taking it from other people in the group or sharing it with other people in the group. So it just shows it kind of links to an anthropological concept of the gift, in that the gift exchange within the community is disrupted by this change in what she's using, like the drugs she's using. So yeah, very good chapter. Definitely getting more and more into the book, and it's more. I'm caring more and more about the characters, and hopefully stuff it ends in a more it gets more positive because it is becoming quite heartfelt. So yeah, that's my review of chapter 2.